Hey guys! Welcome back to Let's Play Star Ocean 2. Last time, we made our way through the Field of Courage, mostly anyway, and got to the end at a level of 65. Now, in between episodes, I battled around a little bit, as well as used all but 2 of my forged metals to level up my other characters to a respectable level to get them ready for the final field, which they are going to be running through. I'll go into their equipment and all that a little bit later, but for now, we're just going to continue with the main party that we brought. I do like the music for this dungeon. It really sets up an eerie atmosphere, though I think it would have been better suited to, say, a dungeon that had more plot significance than, oh, go beat up 4 of those dungeons and then move on. But, oh well. I'll take it where I can get it. Anyway, in order to proceed at this point in the game, you have to make sure you have picked up the altar that we got earlier. Not that that's significantly important, but you have to just go pick it up in order to proceed. It's kind of weird because there's no extra anything when we pick it up. It's just like, oh, we got a key item. Yay. And an earthquake. Why do you think it must be the guardian of this place? Yeah, I don't think it's just a different elemental variant of the same guy. I think it's exactly the same boss as was in the Field of Power. And he wasn't hard the first time. And I have a stronger party now.
This is bad. Here's the enemy.
This isn't going to last very long. And I win. These are your bosses. These are your bosses.
Crod has advanced forward.
Yeah, Crod has advanced forward. I like that they include that in there. I don't
Leave it to me.
I can't remember if I've even talked about it, but during the original translation, they weren't sure whether it was going to be thank you, explosion pills finally, whether it was going to be Claude, Crod, Claude, whatever they were going to do. And so, as a placeholder, they used the word Crod because that would have been the, or Crado, which would have been the direct Japanese terminology for it, what they would have used. And so, it's interesting how that stayed in there and they never bothered to fix it when they found out what his name was actually going to be. And as with all of the other fields, we have separate scenes for each path, depending on your protagonist. This doesn't seem all that much in the past, though. This seems like it might be happening right now. Claude made his own stupid decision, and because of it, you think he's dead. He's not, but he probably should be, based on the intelligence required to make that choice. I guess that's why you equipped a bow and cast spells in the first game. Gotta hide in the back. It seems kind of a strange plot point to put forward in terms of trying to develop the relationship between Ronix and Claude, mainly because we just don't get a lot of interaction between the two prior to it that would suggest this, so there's no real foreshadowing, and, well, it, I guess, could explain a couple of things. There's not even a whole lot that it can explain because they don't spend a lot of time going into what would have happened between them anyway. They don't share enough scenes in order to make it worthwhile to get into something like this. It's kind of weird how they do that. This is courage. Your father shows courage, especially in the event that he thinks you're dead. Now, she's heard someone say, as an Edian, have the courage to forsake everything. That's literally all we get on her path. I will be showing it off anyway, because I think there might be another line or something like that, but I am going to go and show that off as soon as we finish up and grab the jewel here. Apparently that was kind of Claude's issue before, was that he was all bravado and, ran into everything. I guess that could be drawn back to what he did at the start of the game that it ended him up on Expel to begin with. More bravery than, thinking things through. Anyway, with that being said, we will show off the other scene, and then I will meet you outside. Okay, and we've defeated the Guardian on Reyna's path here, and we're able to get our courage for beating him. Kind of weird. Anyway, on Reyna's path, things play out a little bit different, and we really don't get much of a scene. To forsake everything, huh? What exactly do you mean? Live too long, we are nearing the limit. What are you saying? In need or on need? I don't know. The rest you must see with your own eyes. As the nation of need, use your own judgment. That's kind of odd. She's not really the nation, and it's a planet, not a country, so I have no idea what they're talking about. But yeah, that's pretty much all we get there. But we do get to hear Reyna's theme again, and I do like the music box variant of it. Is this courage? Yeah. Do they ask what Claude saw or not? I don't believe so. I don't think they do anything here. Okay. That's fine. I will meet you outside then. Okay, we're back and we're outside. Now, I'm not going to bother to be right on the island that the other one is at because it's up in the air and we get a little scene for heading in here, even though the Synod is one of the most difficult to control airships I've ever had to use in any JRPG. Really annoying to use. Anyway, let's go take a look at the Field of Love. Okay then. I think we just did. I think so. But you already did. At least I think. Anyway, it warps you in here. Anyway, time to swap up party members. We are going through this with the Crap Party. All of the rejects on this particular path. Now, as far as equipment goes, I'm going to go with the Twin Tail. You could use the Invisible Whip if you want. It's more damage. But I would much rather have things set up the way I do with an Atlas Ring and a Berserk Ring to increase his attack power a lot. Now, normally you won't have the battle suit, so you could always just swap it in for Reflective Mail if you want. And I will do that since I believe you can use it. You cannot use it. Okay. What the hell can you use? I don't know, maybe you can get him some mithril armor or something. Okay, I'm going to use a battle suit, make my life a little easier. Because I know he can't use the dual suit either. And he won't be able to equip Sylvan Mail because that's female only. I have no idea what you would equip on this guy otherwise. I don't know. Pick something that you have. If you don't have a battle suit, well, if you have him, you should have a battle suit. So what am I saying? Go right ahead. And we're going to, well, I can take these Mirage Robes off and put Ishtar on. I was using the Mirage Robes in the previous area that I was in, just because they were a little more useful. The stone protection was helping, because those demon dudes in there could inflict stone on you. Sturm Rings for the mages, Ring of Happiness, Promise Ring, Tri-Emblem, anything that just gives a little more stats, and everything else is pretty well standard at this point. Alright. Did I actually switch them? I did switch them in. Okay. Well, I'll be leaving most of the battles in on this path since we never get to see these party members.
I'm not scared.
Now, I need to switch over to Ernest. We've learned Fairy Heal for Rain on this path, which will be helpful. Heals a lot. Now, if you notice how much damage you do with that whip, with both an Atlas Ring and a Berserk Ring on, it does quite a bit of damage, and because the whip I have actually hits twice, different part of it moves independently and attacks a different enemy, it just hits the same enemy twice, and I think the damage is exactly the same both times, so it doubles your attack power by equipping this, as opposed to this, which is only 100 more powerful. So I much prefer this one for him. It allows him to deal some good damage. As far as spells that I've learned at this point, we have the Noah spell, which is water-based, Shadow Flare, which is, I think, darkness-based, Gremlin Lair, which I have no idea what element that is, and those are the only ones he has on. Celine has Thundercloud, which is her third Thunder Elemental spell. Attacks all enemies, that's fine. Mind Absorber, she's never used it, and she probably never will. I can just take that off. Lunar Light, I think there's technically a Moonlight status in this game, or element, and then, or maybe it's a light elemental attack, I don't know. And then Southern Cross, I believe, is non-elemental, but it's her most powerful spell at this point in the game, so we're going to leave that on there too. So that's how I'm going to try and survive in here. We get a Serpent's Tooth, which I'm not actually sure what that does off the top of my head. Oh, they're Knuckles. For a character I do not have, so they're probably for Bowman. Okay. Sure thing. Or maybe Noel.
I won't lose.
Okay, so these mages here, the old sage dudes, I should probably switch things up so I'm controlling Ernest off the bat. They can drop fairy rings if you haven't gotten one already. If not, then you can get them here and then reproduce them by using copying. As you can see, the spells take a while. They do somewhat decent damage. I don't know if I've ever seen this spell before because I never use Leon this late in the game. Okay, that's actually not horrible. Except for the fact that it takes way too long to do. I'm going to turn that one off. That one is way too long. I don't mind Lunar Light. It's not super, super long. Unfortunately, most of the spells at this point in the game just take way too long. Okay, we're going to fast forward that. There we go. Other than that, you just keep spamming, let Reyna do the healing. I like to control Ernest so that he can attack as much as possible. He may need a little more hit, especially on higher difficulties. No, not more Gremlin Lair. But you need more hit on the higher difficulty levels just to hit the enemies. Oh, Ernest is now stoned. Well, that's great. Well, he didn't get experience for that one.
No big deal.
It's one of the downsides to using him. There's nothing I can really do about that. I could equip him a stone check, but that cuts his damage in half. She learned growth and anti. We don't need either of those. Growth increases attack power, by the way. By the time we need to do this, we'll be on the super bosses, and I have a better way of doing it. Let's see. We can turn off that. Use the spell. She does have the Raise Dead spell at this point, so you could use that if you wanted to. I just do that to save on having to buy more items, but that's entirely up to you. Okay.
They look pretty tough. I'm not scared.
I still haven't remembered to change my setup there. But yeah, he can actually do a reasonable amount of damage, Ernest can, with his whip. I'm not using any of his techs because it really isn't going to help any of his killer moves. I don't know much about them. All I know is that if I can focus him on doing more attacks, then I should be in pretty good shape. Go. This area is very, very short. So we're just going to finish this up, and considering I'm going to leave all the battles, and we probably won't
going to do this?
Be careful.
finish up the boss fight as well, but yeah, one of the downsides to having mages in the party is they don't do as much damage as fast. The enemies get more chances to do whatever they want. Here's Southern Cross. And the other one is the attack animations take way too long. I don't have the patience to bring spellcasters in my party for the most part at this stage in the game, but I remember before I started this LP, someone had mentioned that they wanted me to find a way of making use of some of the non-conventionally, the characters who weren't conventionally good, which is pretty much these ones. Reyna is kind of on the fence there. She's a middle range character. So I wanted to at least try to find a way to make use of a character like Ernest. And basically having a party with Ernest as the lead with the 2 mages probably isn't the best. If you're going to have a party with 2 attack mages and Reyna, you probably want someone like a Claude or maybe Chisato, someone who can hit a lot of enemies at once so they can be kind of the tank and eat up a lot of the damage and distract a lot of the enemies so the mages can cast spells. Yeah, we just need to go up here.
I won't lose.
But there is a better weapon we can get for Ernest, and we'll get that before the final dungeon. I will show how to get that. But other than that, there's not a whole lot really to the strategy at this point. Even with weak party members, we can take down the enemies with some simplicity. It doesn't show it, but there is a separate damage count right behind the first one that we see with all of Ernest's attacks. You can kind of see there, both of them showed up. Sometimes they're exactly the same, sometimes they're not. I'm not sure if he is guaranteed to hit every single time with the secondary hit. Sometimes it seems as though it's not working. So if we touch the little red button, we get slight 3D animation for a moment. It unlocks the passage forward and becomes a little blue button. We get Resurrection Mist and a Holy Rod. If you're interested, the Holy Rod can be used with item creation, with Customize,
really going to do this?
to give you access to a slightly better weapon for Celine if you're interested. I wouldn't worry about it. I think it's like 380 magic when the one she has now is 300. I think it's possible that one has half MP cost, but as you can see at this point, especially with spellcasters, you don't need half MP cost. It's unnecessary. Yeah, anytime you attack an enemy, sometimes it'll freeze up, which is rather annoying. A lot of that has to do with whether the enemy partially blocks or completely blocks. Okay, can I move, please? Let's revive her with Resurrection Mist, since I happen to have them. But yeah, like, this makes the normal battles difficult again, acceptably difficult, where you're actually going to die, but it doesn't make it super, super hard. We still can keep up for the most part. I'm not really paying attention, which is why Reyna got herself hit. And we're going to cut all that out, because that takes way too long. Really should turn that one off. Yeah, the mage enemies are kind of annoying in terms of just how often they seem to block my attacks and how long it takes to kill them, because I can't actually hit them. Well, I'm petrified again. Everyone seems to be able to inflict it. Maybe I should switch to the Mirage robes again to protect everybody else. Really? More Gremlin Lair?
They're really finished?
Wow, those battles take way too long. As you can see, magic is not particularly potent in this game. If you're unable to get down through those areas there, it's because the path narrows right at the screen transition.
Oh, practice.
those shield enemies will fall pretty easily to a few spells. Fast forward. And so I'm going to let them focus on that, and I'm going to go after the wizard, who tends to be the most annoying enemy in here. And there's Thundercloud. I think we've already seen an enemy use this on us, but... yeah, those guys will fall down relatively quickly. The shield enemies are more annoying for characters who aren't able to... would you stop with the stoning? They're more difficult. Those enemies are more difficult for physical attackers. Hit the enemy! Hit the enemy, Gabe! Holy crap! God, I hate Ernest. God, he sucks. His attack takes way too long to get off. Die! Well, we haven't seen that one. Now we have. And it actually killed him. Thank you.
Easy.
And we're getting silver this late into the game again. Alright, so we'll touch this guy. Maybe I'll cut out the remainder of the battles and fast forward through that because it just takes way too long. As I was saying, the transition for... oh, there's a new enemy. I half fast forwarded through it, but yeah, these guys don't have a lot of HP. They die relatively quickly, and yeah. So fast forward through the rest of that. That's why. And they give crap for experience. They drop, I think, magic cameras or something like that. No real point in fighting them. You could run or you could just kill them. Yeah, but like if you try and go down, I'm holding down right now, you have to actually be in the middle. Just so you're kind of aware and you don't have trouble with it. Okay, we're back and I have no idea where the hell I was. Did I get this already? I don't know. Anyway, on that last battle, I got game over. Because everybody got petrified. And as I tried to revive characters, they kept getting spammed with spells because the two wizard character enemies were left. That battle took about 3 or 4 minutes, so I just cut the whole thing out since we're going long enough as is. But yeah, you can get yourself game over in here. I made some changes as I came back through, including leaving the Mirage robes on so that didn't happen again. Nothing to protect Ernest, but that's alright. The one thing I did try with him is I built up the flip ability to level 10 and I turned it on, but I got so tired of it because it just kept making life more difficult. You would walk up to the enemy, walk right past the enemy, go to the other side, establish position, and then try to hit the enemy, and then miss. Because the enemy ran away halfway through your attempt to go past him. That's why I hate the flip ability and why I never use it. But I figured I'd try it since Ernest seems to be hitting nothing here. Anyway, next time we're going to attempt a boss fight with this useless party. Seriously, I got one fight off screen and I fucking end up almost dead. Oh my god! Fuck off! Jesus Christ, game! Holy crap! I almost got fucking game over! Holy shit! That's all for this one, and I'll see you guys next time.